Hello all, this is Rajesh Balraj. Welcome to my YouTube channel Defreeze Coding. This is part of Electric Load Trend series. This is going to be the second video. Let's take a look at the business case. Pause the video, take a minute, review the business case, and then we can get started. Let's get started. So we were able to complete the default Blazor application in the last video. We'll continue with that. In this video, right, we're going to discuss about the razor. What is a razor? Razor is a template markup syntax for combining HTML markup with C# coding. We spoke about the Blazor, right? What is the necessity of a Blazor? In the traditional web application, right, for the client for the server side, we usually do a C#, and for the client side, the developer has to write a JavaScript to do the client side interaction. So the Blazor, right, provided the ability to use C# code on the client side interactivity. So so Razor is the component that's going to enable us to switch between HTML markup language and the C# in the same file. Uh, let's look at the articles. So let's start with this article, right? I'll put all the links for the article in the description. You can review it later. Uh, you can see, right, the HTML. So H1 is the HTML tag, and then there's the @sign, and then the variable name. If you put @sign and the variable name, then you get access to the C# variable, and then the value will get displayed directly. This is a very cool feature in Blazor, so that this will save tons of time in writing JavaScript. Let's go ahead and create. We're gonna in this electric trend application, right? Electric load trend application. We're gonna create a page in the client side, not on the server side. Yeah, let's go ahead and create a .razor page. So go to this Explorer window, and then go to Pages. We're gonna create a client side page for our application. So go to Pages, right click here, go to New File. This should bring up to the template here. Look for a razor component, not the first one. Pick the second one, the razor component, and then give a name. Let's make it as trend. Yeah, this will create a trend page, trend.razor, and then it does just have H3, just a H3 markup language and a backend code. Let's go back here, and then this is a page keyword, right? That is used to identify the page uniquely. So if you put the domain name / whatever the counter, then application knows, hey, it has to route to this page. Same thing. So we're gonna go here, and then name this as trend, all lowercase, trend. And then let's do a P, and then this chart will be displayed here. Okay, let's go ahead and test it out. Let's go to Electric Web, do a .NET build. Okay, do a clear .NET run. And click on the link, and it should open up this one. We haven't set up any navigation, so let's go ahead and use the trend. So the same keyword I have to use. Hit enter. So this brings up the page. So this is the keyword that's really important. It should match the page keyword. So trend is there. You see this navigation here: home, counter, and weather. We don't want counter and weather. I'll show you where these navigations are set up. Let's go back here to the components on the server side, go to layouts, and the nav menu.razor. This is where the navigations were set up. Let's copy the first one here, and then I have to, let's go ahead and comment it out. Go to edit, toggle line comment. This will comment it out. So here, right, I'm going to make it as a trend, and the href will be trend. Most probably it will not reflect even if I refresh. Let's see. Nope. Let's kill this one. Come here. Do a Control C. This will shut down the IIS Express. Do a clear. Let's do a .NET build. Do a .NET run. Okay. Bring up the application. You see this trend here. Click. You will get to it. Okay. We are able to create a razor page. The next one is the right. We're gonna discuss about the REST API. What's a REST API? REST API allows application to interact with each other and exchange data. I have an article. Let's take a look at that. So go here. So there it is. You see, right? We have a REST API server where we can have. It could be any other applications. It could be a client or whatever. So all the applications, right, can connect or can interact with the REST API via HTTP protocol. So here, HTTP protocol, once the request is initiated, the server will handle the request, generate the needed response, and then it will send back the response to the calling method. It could be anything. In this, it's a desktop application. It could be anything. Yeah, go through it. This article covers everything. Um, the most important thing, right, in the REST API, right, the protocol, it could be a HTTP protocol, HTTPS, secure HTTP, and then the domain name. In our case, it's going to be the local host will be the domain name. You can actually use the API. That's an optional thing. And the next part will be the endpoint. So in our case, it's going to be the controller name slash the endpoint. So this is the naming convention to access API. Uh, this is for the generic thing. The next thing is, right, we have to focus on the REST API, the controller for REST API controller. This is the REST API. This is a framework. The next thing is, right, we have to create a REST API REST API controller. Uh, what is a REST API controller? A REST API controller is a class that derives from the controller base that handles HTTP requests. So that's the one that handles the HTTP request and sends a response back to the caller. The response could be in a JSON format, XML, or it could be any other format. Let's look at the article right here. Right, this article explains clearly. The first this is the for the MVC class. Let's not go into that. Let's focus on the API controller. We are going to focus only on the API controller because that is for exchanging data. Uh, this API controller, right, always has to derive the controller base. So you can see, right, this extends the controller base, and then this should have attributes API controller that should specify that this is going to be an API controller, and the route is going to be the controller. Yeah, we will discuss the route maybe elaborately. The route needs to be specified, and then within the controller class, right, we can specify our method, action method. We call it as an action method. Let's go back here. There are different HTTP verbs, right? Get, post, put, patch, and delete. They have specified the individual thing, right? If you want to get some data, we usually use the get. That's going to be a HTTP get. And then if you want to create any new data, then it's going to be a HTTP post, create a data, put our patch to update, delete is to delete. That these are the different HTTP verbs that we're going to use. In our case, right, we're going to focus only on HTTP get uh, to get the actual and the forecast generation data. Yeah, let's go ahead and create the controller. Let's go back. The controller should always be on the server side because the most of the data is coming from the server, right? So we're going to create the controller on the server side. I went ahead and created this one for testing. So yeah, so create a new folder called controllers. So let me delete it and then do it one more time. So let's go ahead and delete it. Let's It's on the server. Right click, add a new folder, controllers. Okay, there it is. And the next piece is right, go new file, and then there will not be any to a class, and then I'm going to create as a trend controller. Okay, trend controllers as, and then as we spoke, right, we have to extend the controller base. It's not here, so we have to use the couple of namespace. We're going to use the namespace here. So this will provide the HTTP, and then MVC, actually the MVC will provide the needed classes. So controller base is available within the MVC. So we got this one. Let's look at the article, right? Let's go back here. So it says, right, we have to use this one. Let's copy it. I'm gonna put it here. So not here, it's going to be here. So it's going to be, yeah, this controller is going to be, trend controller will be an API controller, and the route is going to be the controller, which means, right, we have to use the first part of the controller name to access the controller. It's going to be the trend. The next one is going to be HTTP get. We're going to use the get method. For testing, right, I'm going to use the simple method that's going to return a date time from the server. So it's going to be public action result. Let's say get current time. So it's going to be string dt. I'm going to make it a string dot empty date time dot now dot to string. Or in a specific format, I'm going to use this format, mmddyy. It's going to be 4 y's, ss. I have to return this one, so do a return okay, the return okay, right? This will create a needed object and then return it back to the page. So in our case, it's going to be the page. So it could be any calling application. So pass it back like that. So return the okay. This will be passed as an object result. Okay, so I think it looks good. Yeah, let's give a try. So clear.net build. As per the article, right, this is the domain we got, and the next part was going to be the controller name, and then the controller name, and then followed by our method name. That's going to be the URL to access the API. Let's go ahead and give it a try. Okay, there it is. It will not work because we haven't set it up correctly. That's a good thing. So we know what's going to happen. So let's shut it down. So we built the controller, right? There are a few more things we need to do. The first thing is, right, to access a controller, right, the needed framework needs to be initiated. Like we have to use the dependency injection to initiate the classes needed for the MVC controller to work. So to do let's look at the article to do that. So this article explains, okay, the needed needed services that needs to be added so that the dependency injection is going to take care of everything. So the needed services, right, builder.Services.AddControllers, that needs to be added. Let's copy this one. Let's go back here. It should be on the server. If you go to the server.program, this is the, you can see, right, it's going to be the ElectricLoadTrend.Web.Program.cs. Let's go to the service piece. So this is the service. This is where we can add a service. So I'm going to add the service. It says, okay, add the add controller service that will take care of, that will in turn invoke dependency injection, and then all the needed uh, sequence of steps will be done via the dependency injection. The first piece is done. There is one more piece that needs to be taken care. Let's go back to the article. There is a map controller, right? Uh, in the URL, if you look at it, right, we use domain name /trend /get current date and time, date time. So the application needs to understand, okay, what is that, and then it has to handle that request and then route it accordingly, right? That's where the map.controller comes in. So this says, right, we use map.controller method to enable attribute-based routing. So we're going to use attribute-based routing, right? So we did use the attributes here, right? So if we go back to the controller, we did these are the attributes, right? So for attributes routing, so we need to use this map.controller within our applications. So uh, we have to configure the attribute routing. So this is the line we need to add in the code, app.MapControllers. This is for configuring attribute routing. Let's go back here and go to main program again. This is for adding a service, for configuring, right? We have to go all the way down. So like go here, app dot. So this, you can skip this. This is for the spell checker that's coming from that. We have added that app.MapControllers. So same thing should work this time. Yeah, let's go ahead and build and run the application. Just a quick tip. So HTTP GET, put this action as a bracket. So right, it knows, okay, it has to invoke this action method. Let's go ahead, dotnet build. Okay, do a clear. Let's do a dotnet run. Open the application. We're gonna use the URL trend slash, yeah, get current time is the, looks like get current time is the action method name. Let's hit it. Yeah, boom, we got the date and time from the server. If you refresh, it will change. Let's do it, say 46, 48. Cool. So we were able to create the controller test get current time method. We were able to access it via the URL. The next good thing we're going to look at is the Swagger, right? The Swagger is a very good tool. It's a package that can be used when we are developing an API-based application. Let's take a look at that. So this is really, really helpful. Uh, this documentation provide, right? It's a Swagger, right? Open API. It's for describing REST APIs. This when you install the Swagger package, and then if you access it, it will display all the REST APIs within the application, and also it provides a ability to try it out different APIs that we have developed. You can see, right, this kind of a UI will be displayed, and then for each application, right, we can take a look at that, and then we can try it out. If you want to pass an input, then also that's readily available. We can pass our input, and then the response will be displayed in a cool screen. Um, let's do this. Um, for this one, right? If we go here, we have to install this package in our project. So we will be installing the Swagger package on our server, the main project. We are in the main project. Let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to use the dotnet add package command to do it. Let's go here. If you go to packages, right now we have only one package. I'm going to add package here. Okay, the package has been added. You can see it here. As per the documentation, let's go back to the documentation. We have to add it as a service, as well as we have to configure it. These are the two pieces we're going to do it. Yeah, let's copy these two. So endpoints API Explorer. Let's go to the main program.cs. Right after this, we're gonna add these two. We have added these two services. This is for this. This is to make sure the Swagger has been initialized via dependency injection. The next piece is to configure it. We're not going to use this check. Just copy it, put it directly. Okay, we have it here. So let's, yeah, keep going. Then it will have a URL, specific URL that we have to use to access the Swagger. So, okay, let's do a build and then I can show you the URL. Let's do a clear .NET build. .NET run. Launch the application. To to initialize the to view the Swagger, right? Same concept. Swagger. Use the keyword Swagger and then pass followed by index.html. Yeah, the Swagger, the default page is shown, and then it will also display the API method that we have listed. In our case, right, trend is the controller. Under the trend, right, we have the get current method. This is the URL, the resource, the endpoint. We should call it as an endpoint to access this REST API method. If you expand it, right, it will give an option for try it out. So it doesn't take any input method. Hit execute. Boom. So it did work, and then it got the response back. We can try it out. It says 5/20/17. Yeah, it should be 26. So this is a very handy tool to test it out. So we don't want to initiate a request from the UI for testing any API method, right? If you create a API method, we can use that Swagger directly to test it out, so that we can actually decouple the testing, so that we can focus on one thing and then we can focus on the UI component later. I think that's all I had for today's video. So try it out. Swagger is a really, really important tool. Yeah, if you are able to get a good handle of Swagger, that's a very important thing. And the REST API, it's going to be it's used everywhere. So if you are able to create a REST API, then it's going to be a very useful thing for you. Have a good one. I'll talk to you later. Bye.